Hello, bookworms. Today I'm going to actually be doing a TV related video. So last year I did a video about the top 5 new TV shows that I was most looking forward to seeing for the season, and I was like, I should do that again for this year. So I went to the interwebs and searched all of the new things coming out and realized that there are not 5 shows that I am excited for. There are kind of like really poor choices for television this fall, and that's really sad. Like, there's a lot of really good shows that I already watched that are coming back that I'm excited for, but there's nothing really new that's really like grabbing me besides the Luke Cage series, which is obviously that's Netflix, and then Conviction with Haley Atwell. That looks good too. Not necessarily because I think the story sounds interesting, but just because I love Haley Atwell as an actress. So I decided that instead of doing that, I still wanted to do a TV video. So I'm going to be telling you about my top 10 TV OTPs, like of all time, like of all of my favorite TV shows. These are the top 10 couples that I ship like more than anyone in the world. I think I'm going to do like a countdown because usually I don't rank when I do these kinds of things because it's just really difficult to do that for me. I am gonna at least rank leading up to my most like important couples. So number 10 on my list is Veronica and Logan from Veronica Mars. I really love the progression of their relationship. It is one of those stories where they hate each other at first and then it turns to love and they're just amazing together. And like in the beginning, my friends had told me that they all shipped them because I actually watched Veronica Mars later than some other people, and I was like, there is no way that I'm gonna like this guy. And then, wow, I was wrong. I love him. I think they are so cute together and adorable, and I love them. And they are definitely one of my OTPs. Number 9 on my list is Leslie and Ben from Parks and Recreation. The two of them together are just amazing. And Leslie is like a super strong, like very empowered female, and she really goes after what she wants to get, and Ben is the most supportive husband ever. Like, he will do anything for her, and I just think that the two of them work so well together, and she's so like enthusiastic and happy and like always just on point, and he is always there by her side, always doing everything that he can to help her. Like, he still does what he needs to do, and he still is following his dreams too, and Leslie is totally supportive of him as well. But it's just such like a beautiful relationship, and I just love them together. Number 8 on my list is also from Parks and Recreation, and it's April and Andy. The two of them together are so funny. Like, they're just the weirdest people, and the fact that they were able to find each other and they just have so much fun together, and they totally get one another, and they're just like not normal, and it's so endearing, and I just love everything about them. Like, I love seeing the way that they live together in their house, and just all of like the funny things that they do together, all of like the role playing when they do like the secret agent stuff, and it's hilarious. Like, the two of them together are just like, they're like a match made in heaven. Number 7 on my list is Joey and Pacey from Dawson's Creek. I loved Dawson's Creek when I was younger. That was like the one teen drama that I was so into. I used to watch it every week. Like, I would completely look forward to it, and originally, obviously, Joey had a huge crush on Dawson, and I was like, oh my god, I hate this girl Jen, she's ruining everything, Joey should be with Dawson. And then, whoa, fireworks. Once Joey and Pacey got together, I was like, how did I not see this coming? And these two are like so meant to be together. It's just incredible. I think that was probably like one of the earliest couples that I ever shipped, like before I even knew what that meant. Number 7 on my list is Amy and Rory Pond from Doctor Who. They are by far my favorite companions. Matt Smith is by far my favorite doctor. So just all of like the seasons where it's the 3 of them, that is like my prime Doctor Who age. I love the 3 of them together. I think that they have phenomenal chemistry, and just Amy and Rory's relationship is so cute. Rory loves Amy so much. He's like willing to die for her multiple times. Also, like the storylines where it's clear that they have been meant for each other in like past lives. It's just amazing. And especially the episode, I think it's called The Girl Who Waited, an episode where Amy gets trapped in time and then she ends up getting like really old, and it's just brought tears to my eyes because I love them together. Number 6 on my list is Chuck and the Pie Maker from Pushing Daisies. Pushing Daisies is like one of my favorite shows ever. I think it is so colorful and beautiful, and I love the story, and it's still devastating to me that that got canceled because of the stupid writer's strike. So Chuck and Ned are like so meant to be together. Ned has been in love with Chuck since they were younger, and then unfortunately, this is like not spoilers because it all happens within the first episode. So Chuck actually dies, and Ned has the ability to bring people back to life by touching them, but when he does that, someone else dies in their place if he waits too long to touch them a second time and have them die again. So he brings Chuck back to life, and then someone obviously dies in her place, and he's just been in love with her forever, so he's like really excited to have her in his life again. But part of like her being able to be alive is that he can never touch her. So it's these two people that are completely in love with each other, and they can never touch, they can never kiss, like anything. And it's just so like amazing to watch, and you just like want them to be together so bad, but you know that they can't, so it kills you inside. And oh my gosh, I want to rewatch that series right now. Number 5 on my list are Richard and Emily Gilmore from Gilmore Girls. I know a lot of people have different ships with Rory and Dean, and Rory and Jess, and Rory and Logan, and Luke and Lorelai, and while I am a Rory, Logan, and Luke and Lorelai girl, there is no one on that show that I ship more than Richard and Emily Gilmore. I think that those two are so perfect for each other. Their relationship is completely adorable, and it's also like really nice to see a relationship between people who have been married for so long and still love each other so much. Like, they obviously have fallen into their own little routines, and there are different things about each other that bother one another, but it ends up being humorous. And like, despite those little things, you can just tell how much they still like really love each other. I just think that they're super adorable, and they are definitely one of my favorite couples on Gilmore Girls. Number 4 on my list is Carrie and Big from Sex and the City. That was a relationship that I got really into during my college years. I went to school at FIT, which is in New York City, and I went to school for fashion, and I just completely fell in love with Sex and the City during that time because it takes place in New York City, which is the city that I was living in, and I'm still New York City. In addition to like falling in love with Carrie and her group of friends, I also loved it because it made me fall in love even more with the city. But within the first, I think it's the first episode, Carrie actually meets Big, and then the two of them have this super long relationship from season 1 through the end of season 6, and they're definitely not always together. They're a very off and on couple, but it was just so obvious to me that they were meant for one another, and I always wanted them to be together. And then Carrie also has that one other like really big ex, Aiden, and I never liked him. I was like, what is she doing? She is so meant to be with Big. She's meant for like great city life things, and Aiden was more of like a country guy. And it's really funny because that was always my mentality too. Like, I thought that I would meet someone like Mr. Big and fall in love and everything, and then I kind of realized that I also really do enjoy the country and other things. So I am like very curious that if I were to go back, if I would change my mind about whether I liked Big or Aiden better. But from my memory and from that time frame, Big is definitely the guy that I saw Carrie with. And still, you know, like, just because I've changed doesn't mean that Carrie has changed within that show. So I still feel like Big and Carrie are meant to be together. Number 3 on my list are Buffy and Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I feel like you can tell a lot about a person judging by who they ship Buffy with. There are so many Angel fans out there. Actually, my friend Melissa, who does the Spines with Wines book club with me, she is a hardcore Buffy and Angel shipper, and I just don't see it. And it's also very surprising, like, based on her personality. But so Angel was fine, but Buffy and Spike are so good together. Like, there is so much chemistry there, and they, like, Spike is like that, like, guy that you kind of need to like break. Like, he's like a bad guy, but also like he really does love Buffy, and it's so cute to watch him like struggle with those feelings. And also vampire slayer, so not necessarily supposed to be together. So I love that like forbidden love aspect between the two of them, and I just think like that they are such a great team, and like they're just so perfect together. And anyone who thinks that Buffy should be with Riley, like, I don't know what you're thinking. Number 2 on my list is one that I never thought would be such a huge OTP for me, and that is Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl. I had read all of the Gossip Girl books when I was in high school, and I loved them, and Chuck was this completely different character in those books. So when I saw what they did to him within like the first episode of the television show, I was like, what is this? Like, this is not Chuck. But I ended up like loving him so much. I love all of like the little like psychological issues that he has. Like, not that I love that he had to go through certain things that like got him to be the way that he is, but he's just this like broken character, and Blair is too. But they both like depict this like totally put together and totally like perfect character externally, but then they struggle a lot when they're by themselves. So the two of them together is just really like heartwarming. I still watch that one episode where they finally like hook up for the first time, like in that limousine. That is like one of my favorite episodes of TV ever. And I feel like I always remember that song that was playing, and like whenever I'm in the mood for like romance or something, I watch that episode, and I watch an episode of the next OTP, my like top OTP that I'm going to be talking about in a minute. But Chuck and Blair were just like explosive. Like their love was just, oh, I love it. And then my number 1 OTP ever, which I fell in love with during high school, are Seth and Summer from the OC. I loved the OC, and it was like perfectly during those high school years for me that I was like just completely rooting for the two of these characters to get together. I loved Seth so much. I loved his personality. I love that he's into comic books and sailing, and he's just so hilarious and sarcastic, but he was a misfit, even though he was like the coolest person ever. And then Summer, who he was in love with for so long, who starts out being kind of bitchy and like really mean, but then you realize that there's a lot more to her. And then she totally falls in love with Seth, and just the two of them getting together like made my life. And I also still watch the episode where Summer and Seth get together like all the time, because that is like romance at its finest to me. And I love that like in that first episode where they finally do get together, like it's not necessarily everything that they were hoping for it to be, but then they love each other enough that they like work on everything and like make everything like perfect. Not perfect, because nothing's perfect, but they make everything work between them, because that is like a real aspect of a relationship. There are a lot of people that need to like continuously work to be present and to be in a relationship that is going to work long term. You're going to need to make compromises. You're going to need to do things for your partner that you don't necessarily want to do. It was just so realistic and just so amazing, and I feel like I have always aspired to like finding my own Seth Cohen, and I totally did when I met Andrew. But yeah, they're just so perfect together. I just love them, and if I could watch like Seth and Summer now, I would do it. I would totally be in if that was like a new show that anyone wanted to pitch. So yeah, those are my top 10 TV OPs of all time. So let me know who your top TV OTPs are, and if you disagree with any of my OTPs, we can hash it out in the comments in a nice way, though, because obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but these are the ones that just like struck a chord with me throughout my life, and I just, oh, love them. So I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye!